I want to tell you something that might surprise you.
Tell me.
Small talk is harder than big talk.
Say more.
Ask someone about their greatest fear, they know what to say. Ask someone what they believe about life, they have an answer. But ask a stranger, "So, how was your weekend?" And suddenly the air gets strange. People freeze. People give one-word answers. People look for an exit.
And this is one of the most common things English learners tell us. I can discuss complicated topics in English, but I cannot have a normal conversation at a party.
Which sounds backwards, but it isn't. And today, we are going to explain exactly why.
Welcome back to the Primate podcast, your slow English podcast for real-life conversations. I'm Zara.
I'm Bob, and today, small talk, the most underestimated skill in any language, and the one that actually opens every door.
This is a B1 to B2 episode, but this topic, it belongs to every level. Even advanced speakers struggle with small talk in a second language. Don't worry if you miss a word. Stay with us, the English will come.
Comment below. Where do you find small talk hardest? At work? At parties? With strangers? Write it. We want to know.
Okay, let's start with the real question. Why is small talk so hard? Because on the surface, it seems like it should be the easiest thing. Simple topics, simple language, no pressure.
And yet,
so what is actually going on?
the first reason, and this one surprises people, is that small talk has invisible rules. Rules that native speakers learn without anyone teaching them. Rules about how long to speak, when to hand over the conversation, how much personal information is appropriate, how to show interest without asking too many questions, how to end a conversation without being rude.
And none of these rules are written anywhere.
Not one of them. They are absorbed through years of social experience. And when you are speaking your second language, you are trying to use the language and navigate the invisible rules at the same time. That is an enormous amount of cognitive work happening simultaneously.
And there is a second reason. Small talk feels low stakes, but emotionally, it is very high stakes. Because small talk is where first impressions form. It is where people decide, consciously or not, whether they like you, whether they want to talk more, whether you are interesting, warm, trustworthy.
So the pressure is actually enormous, even though the words themselves are simple.
And when you add the pressure of speaking in a second language on top of that social pressure, the result is often a kind of paralysis. Not because you don't know the language, but because there is simply too much happening at once for the brain to process comfortably.
And there is a third reason, and I think this one is the most honest.
What's that?
Most people were never taught how to do small talk, even in their native language. They absorbed it by watching other people, by trial and error, by being in enough social situations that eventually it started to feel natural. But in a second language, you don't have that history. You are starting from zero in a game where everyone else has been playing for years.
So what actually is small talk? Because I think people sometimes confuse it with surface talk, meaningless words to fill silence.
And it is not that. Small talk is a social ritual. It is the way people signal, "I am safe, I am friendly, I am open to connection," before they commit to anything deeper.
Like the warm-up before the exercise.
Exactly. No one runs a race without warming up. No one has a deep, meaningful conversation without warming up. Small talk is the warm-up. It is not the conversation. It is the entry into the conversation.
And once you understand that, once you stop expecting small talk to be meaningful, it becomes much less frightening.
Because you are no longer trying to say something important, you are just signaling, "I am here. I am friendly. I am willing to be in this moment with you." That is all small talk is, a social handshake.
And that reframe from I need to say something interesting to I just need to signal friendliness, that is one of the most useful mindset shifts you can make because it removes the pressure of performance, and what replaces it is just presence, being there, being warm, being willing.
Okay, so what are the actual things that make small talk work? Because understanding why it is hard is one thing, but you need tools.
Real tools, let's go.
First, and this is the foundation of everything, ask questions, and then actually listen to the answer.
Sounds simple.
Sounds simple, but most people in small talk are not listening. They're waiting for the other person to stop so they can say their next thing. And the other person can feel this. It creates a kind of hollowness in the conversation, like two people talking at each other, not with each other.
But when you actually listen, when you catch something the person said and respond to that specific thing, the conversation changes completely.
Because now you are building on what they gave you, and that feels like real connection, even in a conversation about the weather.
A tourist came to me once, very nervous, very stilted English, and she asked me how the weather usually was here. And instead of just answering, I asked her where she was from and what the weather was like there, and she lit up because suddenly we were not talking about weather. We were talking about her home, her life, something that mattered to her.
One question. That is all it took.
One genuine question, and the small talk became something else entirely.
Second, use what you hear. This is the technique that separates good small talkers from great ones.
What do you mean exactly?
When someone says something, anything, there is always a thread in it, something you can pull on, something you can ask about or respond to. Oh, I love that place. Really? Have you been there before? It was such a long week. What made it long? I just got back from a trip. Where did you go?
You are using their words to find your next sentence.
Exactly. You never need to prepare topics in advance. You never need to think of something interesting to say. Everything you need is already in what the other person just said. You just need to find the thread and pull it.
And this is such a relief for English learners because the big fear is, I won't have anything to say. But you don't need to have anything pre-prepared. You just need to listen carefully enough to find the thread. The conversation feeds itself. Every answer contains the next question.
Every answer contains the next question. That is the whole secret of small talk.
Third, be generous with small responses. This one is underrated.
Tell me.
In English conversation, especially in informal contexts, people use small sounds and short phrases to show they are listening and engaged. Right. Oh, really? That's interesting. Wow. I know what you mean. These are not filler. These are signals. Signals that say, I am here. I hear you. Keep going.
And without these signals, the other person feels like they are talking into a void, like their words are disappearing without landing anywhere.
And English learners often go quiet during these moments because they are concentrating so hard on understanding that they forget to signal, and the other person interprets the silence as disinterest, or coldness, or discomfort.
When really, you are just thinking very hard.
Exactly. So practice the small signals. Oh, really? Yeah. Interesting. I can imagine. That makes sense. These are cheap to produce. They require almost no vocabulary, but they are enormously valuable for keeping the conversation alive.
Think of them as fuel for the conversation. You are not adding new ideas. You are keeping the engine running.
Fourth, have 3 or 4 safe topics ready.
The classics.
The classics. And they are classic for a reason. They work. Weather, local area, travel, food, the situation you are both in, the weekend, work in a general sense. These topics are safe because they are universal. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has something to say.
And the goal is not to have a deep conversation about weather, The goal is to use weather as the door. Weather opens to where you from, which opens to how long have you been here, which opens to what brings you here, and now you are actually talking.
The topic is just the entry point, not the destination.
I learned this from tourists. A tourist would arrive, stranger, different culture, different language level, and they would always start with the most obvious thing: the heat, the view, the distance they had walked. And I never once thought, what a boring opener, because it was never the point. It was just the way in.
And if you are worried about running out of things to say, prepare 2 or 3 questions for each topic. For weather, does it get this hot where you're from? For travel, is this your first time here? For food, have you tried anything local yet? Simple questions, but they invite the other person to share, and when people share, conversations happen.
Fifth, and this is the most important one, stop waiting for small talk to feel comfortable before you do it.
Because it never does. Not at first.
Not at first. Comfort in small talk, like comfort in any social skill, comes after the practice, not before. You cannot wait to feel ready. You have to do it uncomfortable, do it awkward, do it imperfect, and slowly, very slowly, the discomfort becomes something smaller.
And the mistake most learners make is treating small talk as optional, as something they will do once their English is better, once they feel more confident, once they have more vocabulary.
But small talk is not a result of confidence. Small talk is what builds confidence.
Every small, successful exchange, even 2 sentences with a stranger, deposits something into your confidence account. Small, but real. And it compounds. Every tiny success makes the next attempt slightly less frightening.
The tourists who stayed near my rock for a long time, the ones who were quiet at first, I noticed something. The ones who tried to say something, even badly, even awkwardly, left differently than the ones who stayed silent. There was something in them that had shifted, something small but visible, like they had crossed a line they hadn't crossed before.
That line is always uncomfortable to cross the first time, and slightly less uncomfortable the second time. And by the 10th time, it is just something you do. Small talk, a skill, learned like any other. Not through thinking, through doing. Okay, before word tour, let's bring this together.
Small talk is hard because it has invisible social rules, high emotional stakes, and no training ground in a second language. Not because you are bad at English, not because you are bad at conversations.
And the way through is not preparation. It is reframing. Small talk is not about saying something interesting. It is about signaling warmth. Listen. Ask one genuine question. Use the thread in what they said. Add small signals. Use the classic topics as doors, not destinations.
And start before you feel ready, because the feeling of readiness doesn't arrive in advance. It arrives after, every time.
Word tour. Let's go.
10 words from today. Bob reads slowly and clearly. Everyone repeat out loud.
Ready, let's go. 1. Rapport. Rapport. A feeling of harmony and connection between people when a conversation flows easily and both people feel comfortable. Small talk exists to build rapport before anything deeper can happen. You don't need to be funny or interesting to build rapport. You just need to be genuinely present. Repeat. Rapport. Rapport. 2. Initiate. Initiate. To begin something. To be the first person to start a conversation or action. The hardest part of small talk is often just to initiate, to say the first word. Once you initiate, the other person almost always responds. People want connection. Repeat. initiate, initiate. 3. Engage, engage. To become involved and interested. To actively participate in a conversation rather than just being present. She was easy to talk to because she engaged with everything you said. Engaging means responding to what the person actually said, not just waiting for your turn. Repeat. Engage, engage. 4. Approachable, approachable. Easy to talk to, giving the impression that you are open, friendly, and willing to connect. A warm expression and open body language make you more approachable even before you speak. Being approachable is less about what you say and more about how you make people feel. Repeat. Approachable, approachable. 5. Reciprocate, reciprocate. To respond to something with a similar action. In conversation, to share back when someone shares with you. If someone tells you something personal, reciprocate by sharing something about yourself. Small talk works when both people reciprocate, giving and receiving back and forth. Repeat. Reciprocate, reciprocate, reciprocate. 6. Awkward, awkward. Causing embarrassment or discomfort, a feeling of social unease often felt in unfamiliar conversations. The first moments of small talk with a stranger always feel a little awkward. That is normal. Awkward silence is not failure. It is just a pause that both people are responsible for filling. Repeat. Awkward, awkward. 7. Attentive, attentive. Paying careful attention, listening fully rather than just waiting for your turn to speak. Being attentive is the most powerful social skill you can develop. People remember the conversations where someone was truly attentive, not the ones where someone was impressive. Repeat. Attentive, attentive. 8. Transition, transition. A movement from one topic to another, the shift from small talk to deeper conversation. The best transitions happen naturally. One topic leads to another without feeling forced. Small talk is not the destination, it is the transition into something more. Repeat. Transition, transition. 9. Genuine, genuine. Real and sincere, not performed or forced. Truly felt or meant. Genuine curiosity about another person is the only thing that never runs out of things to say. People can always tell the difference between a genuine question and a polite one. Repeat. Genuine, genuine. Warmth, warmth. A quality of kindness and friendliness. The feeling that someone is happy to be with you and interested in you. Warmth in a conversation is more memorable than intelligence or wit. You don't need perfect English to communicate warmth. A smile, eye contact, and real attention are enough. Repeat. Warmth, warmth.
10 words. All about the thing that connects people before words do. Repeat them tonight, and then tomorrow try one small moment, one sentence, one question to anyone. Even, "How is your day going?" said with genuine warmth. That is enough. That is everything.
Episode 17. Done.
We talked about why small talk is harder than it looks, the invisible rules, the emotional stakes, the lack of practice in a second language, and we talked about what actually works. Listen and respond to the specific thing they said. Use the thread, add small signals, use classic topics as doors, and start before you feel ready.
Comment below. Where do you find small talk hardest? And what is one situation this week where you are going to try, even one sentence?
Subscribe to the Primate podcast. New episodes every 2 days. From the studio, I'm Zara.
I'm Bob. Don't be a parrot. Parrots repeat. Primates understand.